this week the parasha talks about a person who receives a punishment in the form of a physical malady on his skin, which shows some sort of spiritual deficiency in him, and then he has to go and be separated from the camp until he's cured of this. It's very interesting that we right now are suffering from a physical malady. We're suffering from the coronavirus, and we're also expelled from our shuls, expelled from our communities, and put outside our camp, so to speak. Last night I was involved in a debate, a discussion with faith leaders of different religions across the world as to whether the coronavirus is a punishment from God. My argument was that although God is able to punish us for things, it's not for me or for anybody else to say why things happen to other people. And I think this is a very important message that we can understand from this parasha and from all other aspects of our Jewish life. Sometimes we're very good at spotting flaws in other people. I once saw a survey and some studies in a psychological publication that shows that alcoholism and other related disorders are not usually noticed by the people themselves, usually by people around them, friends, family, and associates. People don't see their own flaws. People don't notice when they are going off the path. And while this point may even be very obvious, especially in a case like alcoholism, that applies and affects many different aspects of a person's life, you don't notice it if it's your own problem. But if you see someone else when it's so obvious to see, and you can tell them, you can help them, and you can get involved with them. But if it's yourself, sometimes it's very, very difficult to understand what's going on with yourself. And the same thing with tzarat. How do you become tameh? How do you become impure with tzarat? You speak badly about other people. You magnify the flaws that you see in other people. It's very interesting to see that when you have to be cured from this disease, this spiritual malady, you go to the Kohen and he inspects you. And if he says that you're tameh, you're impure, then you're impure. Many rabbis have asked the question, what happens if the Kohen himself becomes tameh? Is he able to inspect himself? And the answer is no, he's not. He's not able to inspect himself because, as the Mishnah in Negaim says, Kol ha-Negaim Adam ro'eh chutz minigei atzmo. Human beings can't see their own sins and their own flaws. A Kohen can't say whether his own skin is tameh or not, because he can't see himself. Each and every one of us have a problem seeing our own flaws, but we have very easy time seeing the flaws of other people and highlighting them, and that's what ends up with tzarat. So what happens when we see the flaws of other people? We get sent away from the community, sent on our own, to start contemplating the truth about what we really like. Is it us who has the problem, or is it other people who has the problem? I remember my Rebbe told me once a story of a swan, and the swan had a very bad smell around it, and it said, I'm going to fly away and move to somewhere else. So it moved to somewhere else, and the bad smell was still there. And then it flew away and moved to somewhere else, and the bad smell was still there. And after 4 or 5 times, it realized that there was actually some dirt on its back, and that's the reason that the smell was kept following it around. We have to understand ourselves that it's very easy to criticize other people and to look down on other people and to cast aspersions. But sometimes we need to turn those lenses onto ourselves and better ourselves. It's very easy to provide unsolicited, constructive criticism that we think is helpful to someone else, but can really be hurtful. We have a responsibility to make sure that we speak nicely to each other. And we have a responsibility to make sure that we interact with each other in a pleasant and constructive way. And when we see flaws, we should see the flaws in ourselves first. If we want to make things better in our lives, and we want to make things better for ourselves, we have to improve what we can do. I said to the other faith leaders last night, it's not legitimate for me as a human being to pass judgment on other people's behavior. The only person I can pass judgment on is myself. And each and every one of us must look at ourselves and see how we can improve ourselves right now. Hashem has sent us away from our shuls and our communities to think about how we behave and to think about how we interact with each other. So this year, this Tazria-Metzora, let us make sure that we take on to speak better to each other, to focus on good things of each other, and to focus on our own flaws and see if we can achieve something great. If we do that, we'll be able to fly, and Hashem will give us the strength to complete everything that we want to, and please God, be sent back into our shuls soon with health and happiness for all. Shabbat Shalom.